Sue Lawley, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming BBC Radio Berkshire, which starts broadcasting on January the 21st. This new service will provide regular programmes of news, current affairs, topical debate and entertainment to the county. BBC Radio Berkshire is broadcasting regular test transmissions like this one, covering the whole of the county, from Newbury to Slough, and including Windsor, Maidenhead, Bracknell, Wokingham and Reading, and all the dozens of towns and villages in the area. If you're not sure you're getting the best reception, try retuning your radio. As a rough guide, you should be listening to this on 95.4 FM if you live at the Slough end of the county, and 104.1 FM if you live at the western Newbury end. Wherever you are, the new service, BBC Radio Berkshire, starts on January the 21st, and I hope you'll try to listen.
BBC Radio Berkshire News. Around the county.
Angus Crawford for BBC Radio Berkshire News at the Met Office in Bracknell.
This is Tamsin O'Brien for BBC Radio Berkshire News outside Wokingham Police Station.
Jane Bolger, BBC Radio Berkshire News, Thames Valley Eurocentre, Slough.
This is Jackie Bartley for BBC Radio Berkshire News at the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading.
Jonathan Richards, BBC Radio Berkshire News at Windsor Castle.
Tonya Shields, BBC Radio Berkshire News, Hungerford.
This is Ian Nicholson for BBC Radio Berkshire News at the Jubilee Clock Tower in Maidenhead.
And around the world.
The World at One. This is Nick Clark with 40 minutes of news and comment.
From Westminster, our correspondent, Nicholas Jones.
Martin Bell, BBC News, Vukovar.
Ben Brown, BBC News, Moscow. Gavin Essler, BBC News, Washington.
BBC Radio Berkshire, your BBC news and information station from the 21st of January.
Hello, John Dunn here. On January the 21st, you will have your very own brand new radio station, BBC Radio Berkshire. There'll be news and views from all over the county, interviews and discussions about the issues that matter to you. So join BBC Radio Berkshire from the 21st of January, your very own local radio station.
Into 1992 with BBC Radio Berkshire. From January the 21st, Berkshire's new radio station will begin broadcasting news and information about your county on 104.1 FM in West and Central Berkshire and 95.4 FM in the East. BBC Radio Berkshire is your new local radio station. Whether it be news, sport, travel, weather, business and farming news, or arts and entertainment, if it's relevant to you, it's relevant to BBC Radio Berkshire. BBC Radio Berkshire, on air from January the 21st at 6:30 in the morning.
Hello, I'm Adam Kirtley, and I'll be presenting the Berkshire Network between 10 a.m. and 1 o'clock every weekday. There'll be interviews, debates, your chance to phone in and tell us what you think about living in the county, as well as music and expert advice on anything from gardening to money. So I hope you'll join me from January the 21st every weekday from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock for the Berkshire Network on your new local BBC Radio Berkshire.
Berkshire's business is big business. The county is home to a host of companies with national and international reputations in computers, electronics, technology, food and drinks and financial services. Each day, Berkshire companies, big and small, are involved at the heart of industry in Britain. BBC Radio Berkshire will be involved too. We'll have a daily business report after 7:30 each weekday morning. We'll look at the economic news, local, national and international, track the progress of those local companies and examine how business developments elsewhere affect them. That's BBC Radio Berkshire's daily business report on Berkshire Today.
Ice hockey in Bracknell and Slough. Football in Reading.
Racing at Ascot, Newbury and Windsor.
Rowing at Henley.
Rugby in Maidenhead.
Tennis in Bisham.
Golf in Sunningdale.
Hockey in Slough.
Basketball in Bracknell.
Snooker at the Hexagon. Football in Wokingham.
Athletics in Reading.
BBC Radio Berkshire Sport. Bulletins every weekday morning from January the 21st.
This is a test transmission for BBC Radio Berkshire on 95.4 and 104.1 FM. Your new radio station for Berkshire starts on January the 21st. News and information for your county. BBC Radio Berkshire.
Hello, I'm Howard Hughes. Join me on BBC Radio Berkshire weekday mornings from 6:30 until 10 for Berkshire Today. The best mix of local, national and world news, together with sport, travel, finance and weather. If it happens in the county or affects you, you will hear it first on Berkshire Today. BBC Radio Berkshire, coming soon.
Radio Berkshire Travel will bring you the fastest and most comprehensive travel service in Berkshire. There'll be up-to-the-minute information on what's happening on the roads and motorways. And for the first time in Berkshire, we'll be using cameras at the county's worst traffic spots to keep an eye on traffic problems as they occur. We've got direct links to British Rail and the buses for the latest news on which services are running late. There'll be 15 minutes throughout the morning rush hour. BBC Radio Berkshire, the fastest and most comprehensive travel information.
Are you getting value from your council? Are you trying to raise money for your church roof fund? Does your village school have enough books, or are things getting worse? And what makes your area simply the nicest place to live in Berkshire? Or is it? Hello, I'm Adam Kirtley, and I'll be presenting the Berkshire Network every weekday between 10 a.m. and 1 o'clock on your brand new station, BBC Radio Berkshire. Now, I want correspondents to report on life in their own patch of the county. So if you think that you could be a Berkshire Network reporter, then why not write to me at Berkshire Network, BBC Radio Berkshire, 42A Portman Road, Reading, Berkshire, RG3 1NB. Go on, become part of Berkshire's network of correspondents.
BBC Radio Berkshire Sport is the new way to keep in touch with the news from around the county. If you're a local sports administrator and you'd like coverage of your sport on BBC Radio Berkshire, write to us at Broadcasting House, 42A, Portman Road, Reading, RG3 1NB. BBC Radio Berkshire Sport on 104.1 FM in West Berkshire and 95.4 FM in the East.
BBC Radio Berkshire News. Around the county.
Angus Crawford for BBC Radio Berkshire News at the Met Office in Bracknell.
This is Tamsin O'Brien for BBC Radio Berkshire News outside Wokingham Police Station.
Jane Bolger, BBC Radio Berkshire News, Thames Valley Eurocentre, Slough.
This is Jackie Bartley for BBC Radio Berkshire News at the Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading.
Jonathan Richards, BBC Radio Berkshire News at Windsor Castle.
Tonya Shields, BBC Radio Berkshire News, Hungerford.
This is Ian Nicholson for BBC Radio Berkshire News at the Jubilee Clock Tower in Maidenhead.
And around the world.
The World at 1. This is Nick Clark with 40 minutes of news and comment.
From Westminster, our correspondent, Nicholas Jones.
Martin Bell, BBC News, Vukovar.
Ben Brown, BBC News, Moscow. Gavin Essler, BBC News, Washington.
BBC Radio Berkshire, your BBC news and information station from the 21st of January.
This is a test transmission for BBC Radio Berkshire on 95.4 and 104.1 FM.